6 billion years, our ancestors reproduced successfully. Our ancestors survived 6 mass extinctions, one of which killed 95% of the population on Earth at the time. And all these perfect changes across a vast and unimaginable amount of time produced the perfect conditions for our species to evolve and become what we are. And you're still alive today as a product of the beginning of the universe. So it's like, well, like, how do you start? Like, it's like, I love it when Alan Watts breaks rational thinking in this way. Like, it's like, when do you start? Like, okay, do you start at birth, or do you start when you're an embryo, or no, do you start when you're the sperm, or about the cell before the sperm, or the cell before the cell, or before the, you can keep going back. Eventually you'll end up in the beginning of time, whatever the fuck that was, if there even was a beginning. Who knows?
We all emanated from one little germ which had to show its strength. And to think about what the individual should do, show its strength. I mean, that's what life did from the get-go. It's, you gotta find that and go with it, I think.
Hell yeah.
What's next, Thomas? What's next on the topic list?
I don't know. Well, so I have a little bit. I'm actually, what I'm about to do, I'm about to I'm one of the evaluators for new professors that might be getting hired at Salisbury. So I have, one of them's giving a presentation in about 20 minutes that I'm going to attend.
Cool.
So that's what I have coming up, but it's on Zoom, so I still have another 15 minutes. We can dive into some closing thoughts on anything.
I want to ask a question.
Yes, sir.
So I'm reading this Brain Rules book, and I just want to know, like, remember how we talked about stress earlier? And it's like, you can have just a very basic conversation about stress, but like, by no means do you hit on the details of why it's relevant and why it's important to understand more aspects of it, right? Like, which is what the sciences are doing. Like, they're researching and studying stress and saying, these are experiences that will be good, these are experiences that will be bad, this is a good stress, this is a bad stress, whatever. So my point is, I just want to ask a different topic, what do you guys think about exercise? And this is, my point is, like, going beyond just the basic, like, exercise is good. Like, what are your views on exercise, and of what you know, and how, if you incorporate exercise in your life, what is it that you do for yourself where you think this is really good for me, or I don't think you need to exercise because of X, Y, and Z? Like, I just want to know your personal opinions on the concept of exercise.
Dude, do you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I think on a certain level it is. I mean, it's an exaggerated analogy, but like the incarnation of the God idea, which Jung says happens when an individual becomes what he is, I think that is what happens when a person exercises, is that there is a state of being reduced and being kind of asleep and not aware, and not aware of what you are and what you can potentially do with your body. But then there's also a state where you're perfectly cognizant of that. You know what you can do with your body and your mind, and it's when you're exercising, you are conquering that sleeping part of yourself, which assumes itself to be weak and incapable and without power. And you establish this kind of unity between your inner self and the bodily self. And they come into one, and it's like you have to kindle in yourself the motivation in order to exercise. And it's in doing that, you kind of disprove your weaker assumptions about yourself, all of those that you have where you say, I can't do this, I'm not strong enough. It's in every rep of whatever exercise you're performing, it's you're negating that argument. You are capable. You're proving yourself with all of it. It's like there's just an innate confidence building aspect of exercise. you get the bodily fitness, but you just get this confidence because you're seeing yourself and feeling yourself uh, accomplish goals, little mini goals, this rep. It's like always doing that and pressing past what you thought you were capable of. There's something so liberating.
Yeah, really like the way you worded that. Really, that was awesome. That was like a unique way of describing it that I don't think I've heard before. So it was cool.
I was about to say the same thing. I think we'll our both of our inputs on this are gonna synergize pretty well because I'm just gonna list off a ton of benefits from it. But you just provided an awesome like psychological and like an intuitive understanding and enhancement that comes out of exercise with our bodies and that mind body connection. It's like our peripheral nervous system is still very extensive and still does have ability to um to alter brain activity in various regions, making us more anxious or not. So if you're more aware of your body and your muscles, which exercise produces, the more you can feel tension and release it so that it doesn't make you anxious otherwise. That's one of exercise. I mean, huge anti-inflammatory. And if you decrease inflammation, anything that decreases inflammation, you're reducing all-cause mortality. So it's like great. But that's a powerful anti-inflammatory. Exercising is the only way to maintain your IQ across time. It's the only thing. There's some evidence that meditation does too, but exercise is definitely most powerful. Extreme exercise to where like you're getting to your limits, but you keep going. That's a characteristic of super agers. And those are people who are still mentally strong and sharp in their 90s, hundreds. Huge. I mean, it basically protects against all diseases almost in regards from a preventative standpoint. Very powerful for diabetics to take on. What else we got? It improves your sleep, improves your immune function. You just have a better physique. Better physique leads to better psychological affect, better self-esteem, better self-efficacy. Produces an enhanced mood naturally, and then it also just enhances cognitive function too. But yeah, lots of good stuff. I've heard a saying before from a prominent person. I don't remember their name, unfortunately, but he said that if there was a pill that could do everything for you that exercise does, it'd be the most valuable drug in the world.
Joe Rogan. He
Was
did.
that Joe Rogan?
I think it was him that said it, or it was somebody he had on the podcast.
Yeah, it's
I love what just happened because I love that. Like I love both aspects of like how we do these recordings, like how it's kind of like free form and we just kind of spitball ideas and stuff and make connections along the way. But like this last little part, how we're kind of wrapping up, just to have like that one little thing, because I feel like again, you gave Dugan, you gave like this very like philosophical and like conceptual view of what's going on and why, you know, like almost, you know, infusing exercising with meaning. And then you're spitting off like these facts and things like that, which have been proven. And just both, I feel like both, I don't know, just really wrapped up and put into perspective just why it's so important. And again, providing those, this is what my point was, providing those details of why it's so important beyond just saying like, oh, exercise is good for you. And it's like, well, that just saying that is not even really enough of a motivator to want to go do it. It's like you start listing off those things and then someone then has something to relate it to and they go, oh shit, like my sleep has been kind of bad. Maybe now that might motivate me a little bit more to fit the exercise in and wear myself down a little bit and see if my sleep gets better. And then when I notice my sleep gets better, now I feel better. Now I want to continue the exercise. That's why the details matter, at least from my view.
that was awesome. But no, I'm glad that you brought that back up though, because I wasn't even thinking about that when I was doing that. But just the more details that you can provide, like you said, the bigger your chances are of grabbing, of allowing those details to almost be used as a Trojan horse to open them up to the idea of exercise in general.
Right.
It's just like, who knows? Maybe by saying that someone incorporates, by adding one more thing to your list of benefits to anything, we'll say exercise, someone incorporates it and realizes that they didn't have to go on that antidepressant that their doctor was about to put them on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's huge. Like for someone going through that, that could be a game-changing moment.
Yeah, because they are
between being on the drug and not being on the drug.
exercise is just as effective as antidepressants in the short term. In the long run, I mean, of course, it blows them out of the water.
Yeah.
Like, and that's, but we still prescribe antidepressants before we fucking prescribe exercise. So it's like, yeah. But my dudes, it has been a great time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll probably have to wrap this up though.
Yeah, no, I'm glad we got to do this. This was been freaking awesome.
It was awesome. Great conversation.